It's going to be kind of like a how I use volume profiles with like AMT and stuff. So really you need to pay attention to balance. Like balance is kind of everything, and that's where the volume profiles come into play because we want to look at these large areas of balance, right? And I have some highlighted, and I have all these volume profiles to kind of, because notice how some are different. Like this one has a more prominent balance right here than this one, for example. And so like you just want to have multiple so you can see, all the balances. And I'll show my settings for them. Yeah, so this is 60 days, 90 days, 180 days, and this one over here should be, yeah, a year. Okay. So balance is the main thing, right? You want to be marking out your balances and playing off of the edges because oftentimes price will respect those edges. Like we can see here, the edge of this balance was also right in the middle of this gap, so I had this marked, and we respected it pretty nicely, right? And that's usually the case, is we'll respect these edges of the balance. And then also you want to have your high volume nodes. You want to pay attention to those because those areas of the highest volume are gonna be places where you're gonna get a reaction most likely. So I don't really use high volume nodes as much as I use balance. Balance is really the most important thing. And I'll show you how you can like mark it, right? So you want to be looking near the low volume nodes. That's why I have them marked as the yellow lines. And you don't want to be marking it like, oh, we have this high volume node here, right? So that's balance. You really want to be looking at like the prominent chunks. So like I have this marked because you can see we have a low volume node here and a low volume node here. So this is really, this whole area is balance. And if we look back on the chart, then you'll see, you'll see all the time that we've spent here. So you mark it kind of on the shelf, near the low volume node, right? So like here to like here. And that's where I would mark this balance. And obviously the edges are kind of like a range, just like any level. Like it's really just like in this vicinity by a few points. It's not like this precise edge because at the end of the day you're marking it off of kind of just what you're seeing. It's not like a textbook level that's just marked there. Let's see. This one is a pretty obvious one just because we have like all of this, just all these candles here, right? But you can see it on the volume profile, right? On each one, you can see this large chunk. And even in the last 30 days, we kind of have this second balance right here, which we kind of reacted off of actually. Like if I mark this how I would, you can see that we reacted off this balance that's kind of in this other balance. So yeah, I mean, it's really just marking those prominent areas. And even here at the top, you can see it's pretty small in comparison to everything else, right? But it still pops out compared to what's around it. And you can see it balanced here. So I would consider that a balance. And I will be using those edges, even if it's a lot smaller compared to something like this. And also, like another thing to use is, right, shelves and ledges, but that kind of just plays into the balance because how I used to trade, like I would mark the shelves and ledges, but really the best shelves and ledges are the ones that are the edge of the balance, in my opinion. And that's why I don't really like mark the specific shelves. Like I wouldn't like mark this, or I wouldn't mark this, right? Because like this one especially, oh, I deleted the wrong one. This one especially, it's already the edge of this balance that I have marked on this one. So I'm not going to be marking those like those shelves or ledges, just because it's already the edge of the balance. And balance is really like, that's mainly how I trade. I don't really use like TPO and volume profile levels, like value area highs and lows, that much. I use them a lot for bias, right? And I'm gonna make a video about that too. And I'll use untapped ones, in like, I'll use untapped ones sometimes, especially in additional context, like if it lines up with one of these extremes of the balance. But really, it's all about seeing this balance on the volume profiles and on the candlestick chart. And that's why this, like having a chart like this is so important, because you need to see this stuff. You need to know where these balances are, and you need to be playing off of them. Because not only does it give you levels, it gives you context. Because you know that if we're, like, we have this balance here, and we get to, let's say, here, right? We're gonna return to this. Like, it just, contextually speaking, it makes sense. And even in my outlook last week, I said we had two options. We were going to react off of here and go lower toward this balance, or we were going to react above it and go towards this balance. Either way, I knew we were returning to a balance, and either way, I knew that I had a target if I were to long and target here, or short and target here, right? So it gives you levels, but it also gives you targets. So you have all that context off of these volume profiles that you need to be using when you're trading order flow. Like, it's super, super important. And when it comes down to like AMT, right? Like, we're either like looking for balance, or we're accepting balance, or we're rejecting balance. So at these edges, when we come and we test these, we tested this edge and we tested this edge. We rejected off of both of these balances. And now we are seeking balance. Just like here, before we rejected, we were also seeking balance. But price did not agree in these balance areas. So that's why we're going higher, right? Because buyers and sellers think the price should be higher. So yeah, that's basically how I use volume profiles. I think it's how most people who are experienced with order flow use them. And you'll see often that these balances are really nice support and resistance areas. Like we have all these. Like this balance, we reacted here, 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 here. Right? Like there's so many reactions that you get. Or like this one, here, 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 here. So it's like they work both ways, right? And they're super, you should definitely be marking them. So yeah, I mean, that's basically all there is to it.